So this is Ultrakill. I don't really know what all the fuss was all about, to be honest. Like, I mean, it's cool, I guess.
What the fuck is even happening on my screen? There's complete chaos everywhere. What the fuck? There's a huge fucking dude. What the fuck? Who made it? God. Oh god. Who even makes games like these? Who makes these? Retro movement shooters are pretty in right now. These two games released, and it reminded a bunch of indie devs that retro shooters are actually pretty cool. And out of all of the bunch, there's clearly a winner in terms of popularity. I forget the name though, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I just don't quite remember it. Oh yeah, and to me, it's no surprise that this one's the most popular one. It has some seriously innovative takes on the genre. There's a whole bunch of creative ways to play the game, and a whole bunch of secret content to discover while you do it. But the reason I think Ultrakill has an edge on so many of the other shooters is actually pretty simple. It's because Ultrakill has nearly unending amounts of replay value. Most games in the genre will put some amount of emphasis into replay value. You know, maybe they'll have a multiplayer mode, or a handful of difficulties, and maybe an Easter egg here or there. But Ultrakill goes the extra mile, and then it goes a few more miles after that. It seems to be one of Ultrakill's core design goals. Give the player as many reasons to come back and play again as you possibly can. And that goal, in my opinion, is the reason that it's the king of movement shooters right now. First off is the obvious stuff. There's the timer. Speedruns are the most universal form of replay value. Even games with practically zero replay value whatsoever will at least have a couple of goblins speedrunning to be the fastest person to fly into the sun or something. And Ultrakill is no different. Every time you finish a level, the game tells you how quickly you finished it. So if you're that way inclined, you can zoom your way to the end of the level as fast as humanly possible to get the lowest time you can muster. But this end screen also has ranks, letter grades for being good at the game. The faster your time, the better your letter grade, all the way up to S. There's also how many kills you got. Killing every single enemy in the stage gets you an S. And then there's your style. The game has a Devil May Cry-esque style meter. Doing cooler combos gives you more style points. So if you do want to run around just shotgunning stuff, you can do that, but switching weapons yields better style points. Doing cool coin combos, parrying stuff, all of that stuff is rewarded in style points. This is extremely good at incentivizing the player to play in a fun way. Instead of just optimizing the fun out of the game and using the highest DPS weapon all the time, you're instead rewarded for doing cooler things and making flashier plays. And it also adds that all-important replay value, because you can try and get the max possible style points in a single level. And if you get enough style points, your letter grade will be an S too. Get an S in all three categories and you get a P rank for the stage. And this leans onto another form of replayability. Mastering all of the different combos and weapon tech that allow you to do the most amount of damage possible is vital to being fast while also having a high style meter. Like being able to parry your own shotgun shots to make them explode on impact, or being able to do these crazy coin setups that make the railgun multi-hit enemies. These things are all difficult to pull off and require lots of practice, but if you want to get those precious P ranks in your levels, you need to master these things. And outside of the base missions, there's also the cybergrind. The cybergrind is basically a wave-based endless mode that Ultrakill has to offer. The longer it goes on, the harder the waves become. This is truly the best place to put your skills to the test. If you don't have perfect movement and perfect combos, you just can't reach the higher waves. It's not possible. You have to use 100% of the skills you've learned. Even though it's very separated from the base game, adding an endless mode is basically a no-brainer addition to give a game extra replayability. There's also these challenges. Each level has its own unique challenge to be conquered, ranging from very easy to very, very actually impossible. How does anyone even do this shit, actually? What the fuck? Like this one here, to defeat the secret encounter. If you do some searching around in level 02, you can fight this boss a stage early. Or like this one, if you throw a coin into this fountain in level 11, you just get to skip the entire level, beating it in under 10 seconds. Oh, and this one's my favourite one. In level 5-4, you fight a big water boss called the Leviathan. You begin the level underwater, and you have to first reach the surface before fighting the boss. The challenge is reach the surface in under 10 seconds, and the solution looks like this. And I'm here. Now where's the dumb snake I'm supposed to be killing? The way you do this is with a thing called slam storage. There's a ground pound in this game called a slam. When you're in the air, you can slam back down to the ground by pressing control. And if you jump right as you hit the ground, you do a slam jump, where you jump back up to whatever height you fell from. If you cling onto a wall and then slam and press jump immediately afterwards, it stores your slam state without actually moving you towards the floor. This tricks the game into thinking that you're slamming from a great height, and if you do a slam jump from a great height, you jump a great height back into the air. And this segues me quite nicely onto the next point about replay value. The movement. And oh boy, do you know I love movement. I literally never, ever stop talking about it. And Ultrakill has some pretty good movement. You can do dash jumps to gain a ton of speed, slide jumps to maintain that speed. Slam storage lets you super jump, but it also lets you gain incredible forward speed too. You can use all of your explosive weapons to launch yourself at the speed of sound everywhere. And the faster your times, the more able you are to get the P ranks in all the levels. And when you get a P rank in all the levels, you unlock a secret boss, which is where that final layer of replayability comes in. The secrets. If you beat every level up to Act 1 with a P rank, you can unlock an ultra hard boss called Minos Prime. And Minos Prime will kick your tiny little head in for 4 hours until you finally beat him once. There's also a P rank door for Act 2, but since Ultrakill is in early access, it's not finished yet. So it just says it's under construction. But maybe if I no-click through the door, I can get to the boss at... Oh. You thought of that. The secrets in Ultrakill remind me of that sort of thing that you'd hear about in school when you were 9 on the playground, where your buddy was like, nah, trust me, in Ultrakill, right, there's a hamster, and it's at the top of this boat, and you can give it to a 2D anime dude, and he crashes your game, and he like comes and kills you. Seriously, I'm being And there's tons of these sorts of things to find. There's the simple secrets, like these orbs that are in secret little nooks and crannies, and picking them up gives you the currency that you use to unlock weapons with. But there's way more orbs than there are things to unlock with the orbs at the moment. So after a little bit of playtime, they become worthless. These little smaller secrets reward the player for exploring in a game that otherwise incentivizes you to just blaze through it as fast as possible. But there's also the more weird stuff, like the 2D anime dude ending the world, or the 3D anime dude blocking off unfinished content, or the visual novel blocked off behind a waterfall in one of the levels. Yes, this is real. This is in the game. The game has a lot of this stuff. You can give a coin to the ferryman and he lets you pass without fighting him. There's even secret weapon variants hidden around in certain levels, like the saw blade gun that replaces your minigun, or the heavy revolver variant of the pistol. There's tons of secret things hiding in plain sight that just add an extra little bit of replayability to a game that's already filled to the brim with things to do. And this, in my opinion, is the biggest key to Ultrakill's success. It just so happens that all of the things that make a game have insane amounts of replay value also make a game have tons of in-depth content. The sorts of things that incentivize you to revisit a game are also the sorts of things that have tons of inherent depth to them. Ultrakill truly does deserve that top spot that it's found itself in, and the scope of the game is extremely impressive, especially considering it's an indie game in early access. And with more content to come, there'll be a whole lot more exciting stuff to see from the game in the future. Thanks for watching.